Quarterbacks. They come in all shapes and sizes. Not only that, but some are highly publicized, with years of hype built around their pre-NFL success, while others flew under the radar, virtually unknown, till one day when they exploded onto the NFL scene.
He's got it! Touchdown, San Francisco! They're chanting Purdy, by the way. Brock Purdy chants in Santa Clara.
I feel like I'm in a scene of Rudy.
In today's video, we are going to go round by round, analyzing historical data and coming up with the GOAT of each round. So let's go ahead and dive right on into the first round. To state the obvious, the first round has historically been where the most successful NFL quarterbacks come from. But even with that said, drafting a first round quarterback is far from a guarantee. Back in 2015, Bleacher Report posted a 25-year sample of first-round quarterbacks from 1986 to 2010. And here's the data that they observed. Of the 57 quarterbacks drafted in the first round, around 40% were busts, never developing into reliable starters. 42% managed to make at least one Pro Bowl, and just 5% became All-Pros. Or in other words, the best or second best quarterback in the league in any given year. From this 25-year sample, there is a numerous amount of signal callers that have made or will make the Hall of Fame. And adding the entire history of first rounders, that's where most of the Hall of Famers at the position come from. Everyone can debate where all these guys rank amongst each other, but when it comes to the top dog, one Hall of Famer truly stands out above the rest. Peyton Manning is by far the most individually accomplished first overall and first round quarterback in NFL history. Along with his 2 Super Bowl rings, he was a 7-time All-Pro, 5-time MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, and a 14-time Pro Bowler. That's 5 more Pro Bowls than the next closest first-round quarterback. He's an extremely rare example of a QB taken in the top of the draft that succeeded this much. In fact, among 33 quarterbacks taken in the top 10 from 1986 to 2010, Manning's the only one that made the All-Pro team more than once. Of course, with time, a certain someone that's currently wreaking havoc in the NFL may stake his claim as the best first rounder, and maybe even the GOAT of all quarterbacks. But for now, Manning stands firm atop the first round. Okay, really quickly, before we go on to the second round, this video is brought to you by Manscaped. I've been using Manscaped products for a while now, and have loved their classic products. And now, it's time to tame your mane with Manscaped's Pro Beard Kit. It all starts with the Beard Hedger, the perfect face fixer-upper that every man needs. This cordless trimmer has a rotary wheel that gives you 20 hair cutting lengths, all with one guard. That's right, it's face grooming made simple. The Beard Hedger is also waterproof, and the titanium-coated T-blade is tough on hair but smooth on your face, leading to a single-stroke efficiency. Also, you get the beard shampoo and conditioner, which are especially designed to moisturize, reduce ingrown hairs, replace natural oils, and promote beard health. Next, they have beard oil, which relieves dryness both on your beard and the skin beneath. And they cap off the kit with the Beard Balm, a pomade that shapes, styles, moisturizes, and tames for a sculpted look. The Pro Beard Kit also comes with 3 free gifts: a beard brush, comb, and scissors. If you act now, you'll get 20% off and free shipping with code KTO at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com and use code KTO. Manscaped Beard Hedger, 1 stroke, 1 guard, 20 lengths. In most NFL drafts, by the time you arrive at the second round, the most hyped prospects are long gone. And typically, after the first round, most quarterbacks are subject to a career as a backup. According to data analysis done by Football Outsiders, 25 quarterbacks were drafted from 1994 to 2016, and this is how their careers turned out. 80% of them were backups, or guys that failed to maintain a starting job. Now, of these quarterbacks considered good, one truly separated himself as the best: Drew Brees. As a Super Bowl MVP and 13-time Pro Bowler, Brees put together some absurd record-setting marks throughout his illustrious career. But does all his career accolades make him the second-round GOAT? Let's take a look. Going beyond that data set previously mentioned, 4 other second-rounders come up: Ken Stabler, Boomer Esiason, Randall Cunningham, and Brett Favre, all of whom had impressive careers. However, the only one to truly match the career of Drew Brees out of these four is Brett Favre. Setting aside his questionable personal life, Favre had 2 less Pro Bowl appearances than Brees, but he took home 3 MVPs, while Brees had none. Coincidentally, both careers were defined by the second team that each appeared on. Although Brees was the more efficient passer and ahead of Favre statistically in those categories, Favre was simply better in his prime and also managed to reach an extra Super Bowl appearance. You can make a case for either, but I say Favre is the second round GOAT. Also, I think it is worth mentioning Jalen Hurts and how good of a season he just had in 2022, but he does have a long way to go before he can be in this conversation. The third round is what I call the journeyman round. Most teams aren't expecting to find their franchise guy by this point, so they take either a project or a highly capable backup. Names like Josh McCown, Jacoby Brissett, and Nick Foles come to mind. From that same data analysis by Football Outsiders that I mentioned, 28 third rounders were drafted from 1994 to 2016. Just 6 were decent starters for at least a season, 4 of which were good enough to make a Pro Bowl. Among these, the best by far is Russell Wilson. Wilson fell to the third round due to his height, but he's proven to be worthy of a higher selection. 9 Pro Bowls to this point far surpasses any third round quarterback in the last few decades. And when looking at third round quarterbacks historically, only 3 other names come up: Dan Fouts, Fran Tarkenton, and Joe Montana. I don't need to waste any time here. Joe Montana surpasses Russell Wilson and is indeed the third round GOAT. Montana did not wow the average scout back in 1979, considering he wasn't that big, nor did he have that strong of an arm. But despite not having freakish measurables of a first round pick, Montana became the classic intangibles type of quarterback, and he helped the Niners take the NFL by storm, winning 4 Super Bowls, 3 of which he took home MVP. Tack that onto 8 Pro Bowls and 2 regular season MVPs, and you have one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time, period. The fourth round is officially the beginning of day 3 in the NFL draft. Typically, this is where you find special teamers, rotational guys, and if you're taking a quarterback, you're looking for a cheap backup. 41 quarterbacks were taken in the fourth round from 1994 to 2021, and only 5 started for at least a season. From those 5, the 3 that managed to make at least 1 Pro Bowl are David Garrard, Dak Prescott, and the best of these 3, at least statistically, Kirk Cousins. But beyond recent NFL history, there's been better fourth rounders. Overall, this debate comes down to 2 names, Joe Theismann and Rich Gannon. The interesting part about both of their careers is they struggled their way to the top. Theismann played in the CFL after a contract dispute, and he didn't start in an NFL game till he was 27. At 32, he led Washington to a Super Bowl title, and the following year, won league MVP. But I believe Rich Gannon topped that. So Gannon was an option quarterback in college, and the Patriots drafted him with plans to move him to another position. Gannon was not thrilled about this and refused to switch positions. This subsequently led him to being traded, and for the next 11 years, he was a mix between backup to part-time starter. To that point, his career had been nothing too crazy. Then, once he signed with the Raiders, Gannon went off.
Gannon will fade into the end zone, caught by Jerry Rice.
Gannon went on to make 4 Pro Bowls in a row, the first of which coming at the age of 34, which is wild. Then in 2002, he went on to win league MVP and led the Raiders to a Super Bowl appearance. It's truly shocking because it's completely out of nowhere. So overall, Rich Gannon, who didn't go off until the 5th team that he played for, is the 4th round quarterback GOAT. We are now beginning to scrape the bottom of the barrel for players. You know you're getting closer to the end when Dan Orlovsky and John Skelton are among notable 5th round quarterbacks. Of the 32 5th rounders drafted from 1994 to 2016, 15 never played a snap. The leader of these 32 in passing yards had more career interceptions than touchdowns, and overall, 0 of these guys managed to make a single Pro Bowl. In all honesty, there's only one Super Bowl era 5th round quarterback that stands out, and that is Mark Brunell. Brunell was initially drafted to serve as Brett Favre's backup. Brunell went on to be traded to a brand new expansion franchise in Jacksonville, and rather quickly, he helped turn them into a juggernaut. By 1999, the Jags had been a consistent playoff threat with Brunell at the helm. He led them to an AFC Championship game, made 3 Pro Bowls in 4 years, and led the league in passing in 1996. Overall, he lasted 17 years in the NFL, starting in 11 of those. Among Super Bowl era quarterbacks, Brunell is the 5th round GOAT. Now, to this point, this decrease in production round by round makes sense, and especially with the talent evaluation process coming a long way over the years, no one's expecting to find decent quarterbacks by this point in the draft. But that's what makes this next round truly bizarre. The 6th round is apparently where the magic is at. From 1994 to 2016, it produced more Pro Bowl quarterbacks than the 4th and 5th rounds combined. That includes one-time Pro Bowlers Derek Anderson and Tyrod Taylor, 2-time Pro Bowler Mark Bulger, 3-time Pro Bowler Matt Hasselbeck, and 15-time Pro Bowler Tom Brady. I didn't have to waste too much time here deciding who was the GOAT, considering Brady is the most famous late-round pick in NFL history. A shocking 7 Super Bowl wins, with 5 Super Bowl MVPs. Tack onto that 3 regular season MVPs and 2 all-decade teams, and overall, this dude is just from another planet. Which makes it really wild to imagine what would have happened to his career if Drew Bledsoe never got injured back in 2001. Now, just to add to the absurdity of 6th round quarterbacks, Mark Rippon was drafted back in 1986 and developed into a 2-time Pro Bowler and a Super Bowl MVP. But even though the 6th round is sort of an anomaly round for these late round picks, if you think that your team's gonna find another Brady or even a guy who can start, think again. Around 84% of 6th round quarterbacks are out of the league rather quickly, or at best, backups. And the 5th best quarterback of those 48 was Derek Anderson, who was only decent for 1 season. Okay, now let's move on to the final round. Since 1994, the 7th round became the final one of the draft, and overall, it's not known for finding late gems like the 6th round. Of the 48 7th rounders drafted from 1994 to 2016, only 6 even sniffed meaningful playtime. Gus Frerotte was somewhat decent, and Matt Castle managed to be a surprise for a few years, but the best 7th round quarterback in NFL history has to be Ryan Fitzpatrick. Featured on 10 different NFL franchises, the Amish Rifle lasted 17 years in the league, mostly serving as a placeholder starter, who would seemingly at random go off. He never made a Pro Bowl like Frerotte and Castle, but he did find a way to keep getting back on the field more consistently. His near 35,000 career passing yards ranks 34th all time, while his career touchdowns ranks 37th. He's by no means a Hall of Famer, but with 17 NFL seasons, never lasting longer than 4 on a single team, Fitzmagic may very well be the greatest journeyman quarterback the league has ever seen. Now, it is worth pointing out that last year, Brock Purdy came out of nowhere, displaying poise and pocket awareness of an NFL vet. He was 7-0 as a starter till he suffered a brutal injury in the NFC Championship that will keep him out most of next season. Whether or not he gets another shot as the Niners starter is up in the air, but he certainly proved that he was worthy of that selection. Throughout NFL history, the draft used to have many more rounds, and especially back in the olden days, late gems happened from time to time due to less availability for scouting nationwide. Nowadays, in the last 30 years or so, if a quarterback goes undrafted, there's usually a good reason as to why. But scouts aren't perfect. In 1994, the Green Bay Packers picked up a kid by the name of Kurt Warner as an undrafted free agent. He landed 4th on their depth chart and was quickly cut before the season. Over the next few years, from a mix of stocking shelves at a grocery store, playing arena football, and spending time in NFL Europe, Warner managed to get another shot in the NFL 5 years after he was initially cut. After serving time as a bench warmer, a sudden injury hoisted Warner into the starting lineup. And with never starting in an NFL game, Kurt Warner, the undrafted free agent, not only shocked everybody, but he seemingly pulled off the impossible. He led the league in touchdown passes, took home MVP, and finished off the season with a Super Bowl win. And the cherry on top, he won the game's most valuable player.
Warner to throw. Going deep downfield, adjusting for it is